So as we have been covered with the introduction of the Fourier series to be one of the type of signal representation, here we have Fourier transform to be also another type of a signal representation here. Now, as like the case of Fourier series that has involved the decomposition of the signal, here also the Fourier transformation, a type of signal representation, also involve the decomposition of the signal in terms of the complex exponential components here. Now, the difference with respect to the Fourier series and Fourier transformation will be definitely covered here. The Fourier series application was especially for the case of periodic type of the signals, whereas the limitation that it is, the Fourier series cannot be directly operated over the aperiodic signals, hence the extension with the help of Fourier transformation here. Now, with respect to the class of finite energy signals, when the decomposition as we have carried for the case of Fourier series, if it is done, so that time we have the Fourier transformation here. So with the help of either Fourier series or that of the Fourier transform, both of the ways the signal that is under processing is to be represented into the frequency domain here. So here with the help of Fourier transformation, we are going to switch the domain of representation for the signal either into the spatial domain or time domain to that of the frequency domain. So we have covered the Fourier series importance also with respect to the signals and system here. The same importance also lies for this tool that it is Fourier transform here. So here the importance is with respect to the linear time invariant systems here. There are again the two reasons as we have seen here. The first reason lies into the output of the linear time invariant system that has been generated for the input of the type sinusoidal, and when the sinusoid of the same frequency but having the difference into the amplitude level and the phase value is generated. Next to that, the property of linearity for the linear time invariant system also lies one of the reason for the popularity of the Fourier transformation for dealing with the LTI systems here. So here a linear summation of the sinusoidal components at the input produces a similar linear summation of the sinusoidal components. Only the difference is that the amplitude levels and the phase value or the concerned input sinusoids have got changed here. In continuation to both of these reasons, although many another decomposition techniques are possible, either you take the Fourier series or Fourier transform here, this is only the class of sinusoidal and complex exponential signal that possess this desirable property to deal with the LTI systems. Hence, we have this Fourier transformation very popular in the case of signals and systems here. Now, let us come to have the Fourier transformation first of all for the signal of the type continuous time and then the signal of the type discrete time here. Here, the signal we consider not basically the periodic but in general a periodic signal here. Now let us see one illustration where we have the consideration of first of all the aperiodic signal. So in this illustration we see in the first part of the diagram we have the representation of x of t. So as we have x of t here, this is continuous time representation of the signal here, whereas the horizontal axis has the time parameter denoted by t here. So as we see the nature of the value that goes on changing within the time span minus capital TP by 2 to plus TP by 2, where TP is the fundamental time duration here. So this is the aperiodic signal here. So now let us consider that the creation of the periodic signal that can be represented x suffix p of t can be made by the repetitions of the earlier structure that we have seen into the first part. So the repetition of the earlier structure that here we can show with the help of this diagram, where we have the first of all x of t at the original place here, and onto the right hand side and onto the left hand side we have a repetition of the same here. So thus the creation of the periodic type of the signal will be given up here. Now if we compare the second signal that has been created by the repetition at the first one here, if we put up a limit, the time period Tp tending towards the infinity, so that time the mathematical relation we can note down for both of these signals, that it is x of t is nothing but the limit Tp tends to infinity that has been applied for the second signal represented in the earlier illustration, that it is xp of t here. Now to proceed for the discussion of Fourier transformation, to be for the case of continuous time aperiodic signals, we first of all begin with the representation of the Fourier series representation applied to the xp of t here. So this can be mathematically represented as xp of t is nothing but the summation k is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity carried over ck in multiplication to the exponential. Here we have e to the power j times 2 pi k capital F0 t, where capital F0 is the fundamental frequency that has been obtained by taking the inverse of the time period Tp, and the another thing that it is the Fourier coefficient representation corresponding to all these k values is nothing but the ck, which can further be mathematically expressed by this equation here. So here we have ck is equal to 1 upon Tp, the integral here we can have minus Tp by 2 up to positive Tp by 2 operated over xp of t into e to the power minus j 2 pi k capital F0 t dt here. Now as we know that for the time interval minus Tp by 2 up to positive Tp by 2, we have xp of t, the second signal that has been formed by the repetition of the earlier one, is nothing but the previous signal x of t here. So therefore we can have the representation of the Fourier coefficients by this expression, because we have the integral limit from minus Tp by 2 to plus Tp by 2. So here it is the change. In the earlier case we had written xp of t corresponding to this expression, it has been now replaced by x of t because of these integral limits here. Now it also holds the true that x of t is the value equal to 0 provided mod of small t is greater than Tp by 2. So out of the limits it holds the value 0. So the limits onto the integral thus can be replaced by the infinite signs here, and we obtain in general the Fourier coefficients ck is equal to 1 upon Tp, as it is integral minus infinity to infinity operated for x of t into the exponential e to the power minus j 2 pi k capital F0 t dt here. Now with this understanding we can have the definition of the Fourier transformation of the continuous time aperiodic signal represented x of t. This can be given by this mathematical expression here. So this mathematical expression is very important, and this can also be outlined here, where the Fourier transformation is represented by the capital casing capital X as a function of capital F, here we write, obtained by the integral minus infinity to infinity operated over x of t in multiplication to the exponential e to the power minus j 2 pi capital Ft dt here. So capital X of f, here it is nothing but a function of the continuous variable capital F here. Few of the textbooks are also referring it to be small f to represent the frequency component here. Now the Fourier coefficients in general that we have represented c suffix k now can be expressed in terms of this x of f that we have represented in the second equation. So this can be done as ck is equal to, we have 1 upon tp as it is, and in place of all this integral here we put the left hand side from the earlier equation that capital F has been multiplied by small k here, because here we have that much of difference only here. So now in this particular expression, if we take the TP from RHS to be shifted towards the left hand side, so that time we get the expression TP in multiplication to CK, that is equal to x of k multiplied by F0 in general. So this is nothing but x in the parenthesis we have k divided by TP, which is in place of F0. So F0 and TP are inversely proportional with the constant of proportionality equal to 1 here. So from this relation that we come to know that the Fourier coefficients are the samples of x of capital F taken at the multiples of the fundamental frequency, that it is capital F0, and those have been scaled by capital F0, or you can also say that these have been multiplied by 1 upon TP. So this we can see from the right hand side here. So either you take this representation or this representation here. So the concept of sampling we have already covered into the beginning lectures of this particular chapter, where we have the conversion from the continuous time to that of the discrete time here. Now the substitution of the Fourier coefficient Ck to the earlier representation of the signal x suffix p that has been generated by the repetition of the earlier signal x of t, we express the mathematical relation like this. So here we have xp of t computed by having 1 upon t multiplied to the summation k is equal to minus infinity to infinity. Here it should not be 1 upon tp here, and now we have the summation operated over x of k by tp e to the power j times 2 pi k f0 into t here. So upon substitution of delta f to be the inverse of tp, we get it to the form the summation k is equal to minus infinity to infinity x of k into delta f e to the power j times 2 pi k delta f, here we use t into delta f here. Now for this expression, if we take the limit that tp tends to infinity here, so we have the left hand side represented limit capital TP tends to infinity for xp of t, that is nothing but xt as the earlier mathematical equation. So we can express it as in terms of the delta f, limit delta f tends to, here it should be 0 here. So as TP and delta f are inversely proportional, so for TP we are tending towards the infinity, hence delta f is tending towards the 0. So this should be 0 here. So this is operated for the summation k is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity operated over capital X of k times delta f into e to the power, here it should be the minus j times 2 pi k delta f t into delta f here. So therefore we can write for the x of t, so this is the x of t, we can write by the next x of t is nothing but the integral from minus infinity to plus infinity capital X of capital F into e to the power j 2 pi capital F t df. So here this mathematical expression is also the very important one that can be outlined here. So this is nothing but the integral relationship that obtains x of t from its Fourier transformation. Hence this mathematical expression can be treated as the inverse Fourier transformation here. So thus, with respect to the frequency analysis concerning the continuous time aperiodic signals, the two equations are of the most importance here. The first that we have seen, that is the direct transformation obtaining capital X of f from x of t, the representation of the signal into the time domain of the continuous type here, and its reversal here. So the reversal equation that just now we have seen is also known by the name synthesis equation. So here it is the inverse transformation. We write x of t obtained by the integral of x of capital F into e to the power j times 2 pi capital Ft df here, where the integration limits range from minus infinity to plus infinity here. Whereas the direct transformation can also be known by the name analysis equation. So here we have capital X of capital F obtained by the integral minus infinity to plus infinity operated over small x of t into e to the power, here it should be the minus here, minus e to the power minus j times 2 pi capital Ft dt here. So here it is the change as we switch from the inverse transformation to direct transformation the equation and swap the positions of small x of t and that of capital X of capital F here. The complex exponential is having the negation sign in case of direct transformation, where it is positive in the case of the inverse transformation here. So this is the representation by using the frequency by the letter capital F here. So most of the books are also preferring small f, the representation symbol here. Now either you take the simple frequency or radial frequency, both ways we can have the representation. Now the relation as known that the angular frequency or the radial frequency when denoted by omega, so omega is nothing but 2 pi in multiplication to the frequency into the hertz, that it is f here. Hence we can express small x of t obtained by 1 upon 2 pi integral minus infinity to plus infinity capital X of omega e to the power j times omega t d omega. So this is the inverse transformation for the case of radial frequency value or the angular frequency value. And in the similar fashion, the direct transformation can be represented. Here we have x of capital omega, capital X as a function of capital omega. So obtained from the integral minus infinity to infinity x of t e to the power minus j capital omega t dt here. So these are the two important equations for the Fourier transformation when continuous time aperiodic type of the signal is considered, that it is x of t. So direct and indirect transformations have been represented for the angular frequency components here. Now to get this Fourier transformation hold true, there are the three conditions as like the case of Fourier series we have seen here, and these are called as the Dirichlet conditions here. So one by one the conditions have been listed here. The first condition is that whatever the signal x of t is there, it has the finite number of finite discontinuities, then only this Fourier transformation relations holds true. The second condition is that the continuous time aperiodic type of the signal x of t has a finite number of maxima and minima. And at last the condition for again x of t is that it should be the absolutely integrable, that it is the integral value of when integration is carried for minus infinity to plus infinity the entire range for the mod of x of t, the magnitude of its value dt, so it should be the finite value, hence we can call it to be absolutely integral, hence represented it is less than infinity. So that time only the Fourier transformation relations holds true, we can have the representation by it here. Now after dealing with the continuous time aperiodic signal types here, now we switch to the discrete time representation here for the Fourier transformation here. So for the Fourier transform of the discrete time aperiodic signal, we have the definition of capital X of omega. So that is, in the discrete form, the summation small n is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity operated over x of n multiplied to the exponential e to the power minus j omega n here. So omega here it is the angular frequency, so it can be 2 pi f here. This capital X of omega, this represents the frequency contained into the signal, the discrete time signal represented here, x of n in the small casing here. Now as we have this representation, this is the direct transformation for the discrete time aperiodic signal. We have just now finished with the direct and indirect, that it is the inverse transformation for the continuous time aperiodic signal. We find the two basic differences here. The differences are, as we switch here, for the continuous time signals, the Fourier transformation has the spectrum of the signal in the frequency range of minus infinity to plus infinity, whereas for the discrete time cases, this has unique value over the frequency interval of minus pi to plus pi here, or we can also take it up to 0 to twice of pi, so for one phase cycle here. Now this property can also be reflected in the case of Fourier transformation for this discrete time aperiodic signals here. So that can be proved mathematically by this expression here. So for the periodicity, here we take onto the left hand side capital X of omega plus 2 pi k, that can be computed by having the summation n is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity operated over x of n into e to the power minus j in the bracket omega plus 2 pi k, bracket is completed, multiplied by n here. So here the exponential factor can be separated into the two by the next step, where we keep the same summation x of n and write the exponents as e to the power minus j omega n into e to the power minus j times 2 pi kn. Finally, we can write it to the form the summation n is equal to minus infinity to infinity x of n e to the power minus j omega n, that is nothing but capital X of omega here. So here we come to see the proof that x of omega is nothing but x of omega plus 2 pi k, so that it is the property of periodicity is proved here. Now from the earlier representation that we have for the case of Fourier transformation applied for the discrete time aperiodic signal, the resemblance to the form of Fourier series can be noted here. So for the evaluation purpose, the discrete time sequence x of n, when it is taken and the Fourier transformation capital X of omega is represented, for that particular equation we just have the multiplication onto the both of the sides by the exponent e to the power j omega m in general, and integrate it over the interval of 0 to 2 pi, or we can simply take minus pi to plus pi here. So that time we can have the mathematical relation. So here we represent onto the left hand side the minus pi to plus pi computed over x of omega into e to the power j omega m into d omega here. The computation onto the right hand side can be shown as like the integral minus pi to pi d omega here it is, and inside to the multiplication of e to the power j omega m we have the square bracket that holds the substitution, the formulation from the earlier representation of the Fourier transformation, that it is summation n is equal to 0 to n is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity x of n e to the power minus j omega n here. Now here we can have the interchange of the order of summation and that of the integration here. The interchange may result into the series of the form. Here we mathematically represent the series representation capital X suffix capital N as a function of omega. So this is equal to the summation n is equal to minus n to capital N x of n e to the power minus j omega n. This basically converges uniformly to the x of capital omega, as we have capital N tending towards the infinity here. Now this uniform convergence is basically for the every angular frequency component here. The convergence of this Fourier transformation that we have seen here, we shall definitely discuss. And first of all, if we assume that the series convergence is uniform, so that the interchanging the order of the summation and integration we result in the form represented by this equation. So here we have summation, the integration minus pi to plus pi e to the power j omega in the bracket m minus n d omega. So that is opting the two values 2 pi for the case m is equal to n, and it is opting the value 0 when m is not equal to n here. So in the above equation, in place of small m, here it should be small m in place of n, and here it should be also small m outside the bracket here, whereas inside the bracket we have small n here. So these are what the conditions we come to see as we change the order of the operations here. So in continuation to the same, we have here the summation n is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity operated over x of n multiplied by the integral minus pi to plus pi e to the power j omega in the bracket m minus n d omega. So this is equal to 2 pi x of m here, or m is equal to n, and when they are unequal we have the value 0 here. So by combining both of the forms, this one and the previous equation, we obtain the desired result into the form. We have x of n obtained by 1 upon 2 pi integral minus pi to plus pi capital X of omega into e to the power j omega n d omega here. So this is also the most important form of the Fourier transformation into the inverse way that can also be outlined in this here. So now the summary of the Fourier transformation into the forward and the reverse way can also be made here by the names like the synthesis equation, the analysis equation here. So here we have the frequency analysis of the discrete time periodic signals here. So we write here the synthesis equation, that is nothing but the inverse transformation just now we have seen. So this is nothing but x of n is equal to 1 upon 2 pi for the integral over the period, that is of 2 pi. We have x of omega in multiplication to e to the power j omega n d omega here, whereas the direct transformation, that we can call it to be the analysis equation as well, gives us capital X of omega by computing the summation n is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity x of n e to the power minus j omega n here. So these are the two very important equations for the Fourier transformation here. So now after discussion with respect to the Fourier transformation for the continuous time aperiodic signal and the discrete time aperiodic signal, let us have a brief discussion onto the convergence of the Fourier transformation here. So as just now we have represented the synthesis equation and analysis equation for the discrete time cases here. For the synthesis equation, which is basically the inverse transformation, we have discussed the resemblance with respect to the Fourier series form, and we have assumed that thereupon the series represented like this: capital X suffix capital N of omega is equal to the summation n is equal to minus n to capital N x of n e to the power j omega n here. So here it should be n. So this series represented x of omega to the suffix capital N, that the assumption is the convergence is in the uniform way to capital X of omega only here. So the condition of the uniform convergence can also be expressed here, where the difference applied the limit is equal to 0 here. So this uniform convergence, the guarantee we can get if we have the input discrete time aperiodic signal x of n to be the absolutely summable here. So for the condition of the absolute summation here, we can express it as the summation n is minus infinity to plus infinity operated over the mod of x of n less than infinity here. In more details, we can have the representation instead for only the x of n. If we apply it to the next form, that is the Fourier transformation, we write the mod of capital X of omega, that is the mod of the formula. Here we can substitute summation n is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity x of n into e to the power minus j omega n. So this is less than or equal to, here it is the important thing, that it is the summation n is equal to minus infinity to infinity mod of x of n, that it is less than infinity here. So this becomes the more sufficient condition for the existence of the discrete time Fourier transformation here. Now as we have to deal with the convergence, we come back to the convergence here. As we encounter some of the sequences, those are not absolutely summable, but they are square summable. So we come to see that they have the finite energy as described by the mathematical equation. For x of n, we represent that finite energy as capital E suffix x, where we compute it by summation n is equal to minus infinity to infinity carried over the mod square of x of n. As we say, it is finite, hence represented less than the infinity here. Now in order to have the definition of the Fourier transformation for such finite energy sequences, we must relax the condition of the uniform convergence that we have shown earlierly. So for such of the cases here, we can impose the another convergence condition that won't be that much of strict here. So here it will be the relaxation, and it will be into the form of the mean square convergence condition here. So the mathematical representation here comes into the form, we have a limit n tends to capital N here tends to infinity applied to the integral minus pi to plus pi over the square of the mod that has the difference x of omega minus the series representation capital X suffix capital N as a function of omega. Here we have d omega outside, and this to be equal to 0. So this should be the condition of the convergence for the Fourier transformation here. Now we move on next to just address few of the cases where we have the illustration of the convergence of the Fourier transform. So here we represent, for example, capital X suffix 1 of omega, where n is equal to capital 1 is selected here. So you can see the form of the pulse symmetric with respect to the vertical axis, and the representation of this curvature as well here. So this is the representation of the part of the sinusoidal curvature here. Now if we have increase into the capital N right from 1 to 3 here, so we have the plot of x suffix 3 as a function of omega. So here you can see the change has occurred into the sinusoidal as n has increased here. So now the resemblance as compared to the earlier figure is more, as we have n that has been increased from 1 to 3. Now if we increase it more, let us say for the case of n is equal to 7, so that time the resemblance occurs more with more number of sinusoid. Here we have for n is equal to 7, the plot is of x suffix 7 of omega here. If we approximately double it to the value, let us say 15 here, so here we have x suffix 15 and it is as a function of omega. Here it is the plot, the more resemblance here we can see. Next to that, if we go up to the value let us say for example 50, we get such a plot which is very close to that of the pulse. So for capital X suffix 50 of omega here, for n is equal to 50. Next to that, the resemblance is more fine. Here we have X suffix 70 as a function of omega. So this way, the convergence of the Fourier transformation can be also represented graphically here. Now, let us address few of the points with respect to the energy density spectrum of the aperiodic signal here. So as we have the energy density spectrum, the content or the information content that we can call the energy, let us first of all have it derived. So as we recall the earlier equation, the energy for the discrete time signal represented x of n can be simply capital E suffix x, that can be obtained by having the summation n is equal to minus infinity to infinity carried over the square of the mod of x of n here. Now in this regard, let us have the expression of this energy in terms of the spectral characteristics, so that we can have the energy spectral density here or energy density spectrum here. So in this regard, we have capital Ex into the form where we have the summation as it is, n is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity, and here in place of mod square of x of n, we put the multiplication x conjugate of n into x of n here. So thus we keep x of n as it is here, and here inside the bracket we put 1 upon 2 pi the integral minus pi to plus pi the conjugate of capital X of omega e to the power minus j omega n here, d omega here. Now in this representation again we encounter the summation operation and the integration operation. So if we have the swapping of the two, that it is interchange of the order of integration and summation, we obtain the capital E suffix x into the new form. So this step we have 1 upon 2 pi integral minus pi to pi the conjugate of capital X of omega. Here we have in multiplication to the square bracket that involves the summation n is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity x of n e to the power minus j omega n. Here we have d omega for the integral purpose here. So we simplify it to the next step where we keep 1 upon 2 pi as it is, the integral minus pi to pi. So this is now to be operated as we have the multiplication. So it is mod square of capital X of omega, finally d omega as it is. So therefore the energy relation between the x of n, that it is the discrete time representation of the aperiodic signal in general, and its corresponding Fourier transformation with the help of the angular frequency notation omega, we give the mathematical equation like this here. So here we have capital E suffix x, that is equal to the summation n is equal to minus infinity to infinity operated over the mod square of x of n, that it is nothing but we have 1 upon 2 pi integral minus pi to pi mod square of capital X of omega d omega here. So this equation is very important form representation here that can also be outlined here, and this is basically known as the Parseval's relation for the discrete time aperiodic signals having the finite energy. Now discussing about the spectrum for the x of omega in general, we have the complex valued function of the frequency. Thus we can express it into the form, here we write capital X of omega is equal to the mod of x of omega multiplied to e to the power j times capital pi as a function of omega here. So in this representation, here it is the new notation capital pi as a function of omega here. So that can be also described as the angle of capital X of omega. So in this representation, the mod representation of x of omega, here it is the magnitude spectrum one part, and whatever the capital pi of omega, here it is also expressed in the next equation. This is nothing but the phase spectrum here. Now Recalling the case with respect to the continuous time signals that we have discussed before, we have the quantity denoted capital S suffix xx as a function of omega. This is equal to the square of the mod capital X of omega. So here this represents the distribution of the energy as a function of frequency, hence we call it the frequency spectrum density here, and it is called as in general energy density spectrum of the discrete time sequence x of n here. So as we have this representation into the last equation, we have only mod of x of omega, so there it is no mention of the phi here, capital phi, so it does not contain any kind of the phase information here. Now if we consider that the discrete time sequence x of n to be a real, so it easily follows the condition that the complex conjugate of the Fourier transformation into the angular frequency notation, that it is capital X conjugate of omega, this is nothing but capital X of minus omega here. The equivalent form can also be represented that we have mod of capital X of minus omega is equal to mod of capital X of omega, so thus we can call it to be of the even symmetry. Also for the angular form, we have the angle of x of minus omega is equal to minus the angle of x of omega. This can be treated as the odd symmetry here. And from the earlier notation where we have s suffix xx of omega to be equal to mod square of x of omega here, we can note down that s suffix xx of minus omega is equal to s suffix xx of omega. This is nothing but the even symmetry here. So with this information concerning the energy density spectrum of the aperiodic signal, earlier to that we have also addressed the convergence of the Fourier transform, and the most important Fourier transformation for both the cases of the continuous time signal and the discrete time signal. The discrete time signal will be more important as we shall carry the things forward in throughout this particular chapter here. We conclude this particular topic, Fourier transformation.